Hosting a webinar takes some effort. Sure, it's incredibly easy to host a webinar, but you have to prepare your presentation, create your webinar, and even promote it to get viewers. It would be devastating if you put in all that hard work and host a webinar at a time where your viewers cannot attend. That's why today we are talking about the best time to host a webinar. You've probably already spent hours of research on the topic of algorithms and maybe even tried to beat the algorithm for platforms like YouTube or Instagram. But why not try that for your webinars? After all, there's a best time to host a webinar. Let's start with the annoying fact. There's no one-time-fits-all solution. The best time for your webinar is based on a few different factors. Factor 1. Your audience. I know, as a marketer myself, this question annoys probably the most of us, because everything you do as a marketer starts with this question: who is my audience? But there's a good reason to ask yourself this question. Let me explain. First of all, is your audience B2B or B2C? Business webinars are viewed during the day, more specifically during working hours. Why? Because we are allowed to view business webinars that might benefit our work. To be concrete, B2B webinars can be hosted from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Why the gap between 12 and 1, you ask?
Lunch!
Exactly, lunchtime. Business to consumers is a different story. Consumers do not have the possibility to view your webinar during working hours. This means they are available in the evening after they have come home from work and had their dinner. So, does that mean it's free game after 6 or 7 p.m.? Again, it depends on who your audience is. Do they have kids? Then it's probably best to host your webinar after 9 p.m. when the kids are asleep and they have time to sit down and view your webinar. Do they enjoy watching every single Champions League game? Then it's probably not the best idea to host a webinar at a time when there's a game on. See why it's not that easy to pick a moment that fits all, or even most? Factor 2. Day of the week. Apart from time, you also need to think about the best day to host your webinar. There's a theory behind this. Try to steer clear of the weekends. Most people have plans on the weekends, which makes them unavailable for your webinar. Mondays are a pain, as we all know. It's the start of the week, which means a lot of meetings, lots of emails, and little time to view your webinar. Fridays are used to finish tasks before the start of the weekend, and the focus might be a little bit compromised on Friday afternoon. That leaves Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays are our favorites because they fall right in between the off days. A lot of people like to take the day off on Wednesdays to slice the week in half. So let's say I'm hosting a webinar for single working moms about a product for their child. I would host that webinar on Thursday evening at 9 p.m. If I would host a webinar about a new release for my SaaS product, I would host that webinar on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Another thing to keep in mind about the best time to host your webinar: keep an eye out for current events or breaking news. You might be able to play to current events with your webinar, but only if you can link your subject to the current event in a respectable manner. Imagine you have a company that sells electronics. The start of the lockdown was a good moment to host a webinar about how to set up your home office. In your webinar, you could have promoted your own products. Holidays are also a great time to host a webinar. Are you hosting a webinar during the Christmas season? Then your webinar could be a gift to your audience. Create a discount code and send it to your loyal customers. Giving back at the end of the year works really well for customer engagement. And that's it. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about webinars, how to host them, what gear to use, and what it is like to work at a tech startup, please subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click like on this video and hit that notification bell and let us know what is your best time to host a webinar. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.